there's a YouTuber by the name of Sneako. Now, Sneako has an interesting origin story from what I understand. He started doing videos when he was really, really young. And according to, it seems to be a unanimous opinion that when he first started doing videos, when he first started coming up, he was getting great views, and he just seemed like a down-to-earth, likable, vulnerable type dude. His videos were not political, at least not insofar as I've seen. And he was just sort of viewed as like an internet everyman, this young kid who's charming, who a lot of people liked. And then he's sort of like an interesting cautionary tale, because as he got older, Lord only knows what was going on in his private life. I don't know. I know there's some speculation that he had a girlfriend and he was hurt by the girlfriend or whatever. I don't know how much this plays into it, but he ended up sort of getting caught up in the whole red pill world, and so he became big into right-wing politics, big into conspiracy theory thinking. He became a massive Andrew Tate stan. Like, all this stuff kind of happened slowly but surely. And actually, I don't even know how slowly. It might have been pretty fast over a period of time. And then he got to the point where I think he was banned on like all the big social media outlets, and he was on YouTube. I think he ended up going over to Rumble, and I don't know what happened with his Twitter account, but he basically got the internet death penalty at a certain point, and people were digging up the stuff when he started making his heel turn. People started digging up the clips of the stuff he said, and you guys know how that goes. It usually doesn't end well for these types of people. He sort of Milo Yiannopoulos himself, something like that. I mean, I guess that's a fair way to describe it. Well, anyway, he pops up on a show here, and he's talking to this guy, Aiden Ross, who's also, by the way, is a big like Andrew Tate supporter. And you're gonna see here, again, cautionary tale. What happens when you get lost down an internet rabbit hole and you sort of lose your normie feel, your normie touch, and it's just brain rot. It's just internet political junkie brain rot, red pill brain rot. Well, here's what happens. Watch this.
Reality ain't black and white. Nothing is black and white. And if you say it is, you're delusional. I'm just sorry to say.
I didn't say. You just made up a whole argument that I didn't even make.
But do you hear what I was trying to say?
You consider it, like, just be more empathetic? Is that it? Is that the point?
He's basically saying understand perspective. Like,
that's exactly what you guys aren't doing. That's exactly what both of you didn't do this whole argument, is understand. The thing that triggered you is understand.
I don't care about Hitler's perspective.
So it's either understand perspective or don't. Because Hitler
there's no justifying a guy who killed 6 million.
Bro, so it's understand perspective or not. Because Hitler, whether or not I understand why you think he's evil, I don't think he was a good person as well. But to not understand him, he's also a human. So you also need to understand that perspective if you're going to use that as an argument. You can't just...
Okay, so let's pause here real quick. Notice the weird direction that went in. Dude was like, the world's rarely black and white, right? Like, you got to understand perspective and gray area. They both make that argument. And then Sneako interprets that as like, that's right. That's why Hitler, I mean, it's complicated, bro. Anytime you hear somebody make a point about like, the world's not black and white, there's a lot of gray area. You got to understand perspective. If your immediate reaction is like, well, that's why Hitler, I mean, he had a lot of upsides, right? That's not it. Every now and then, you stumble across black and white. In fact, it can get very, very black and very, very white in some instances. I would argue Hitler's one of those instances. Call me crazy. I'd argue Hitler is one of those instances.
Out and say, nope, understand everyone's perspective but this one guy.
I understand Hitler has a perspective, but I don't agree or even want to even. Why would you? I mean, yeah, like, of course, everyone's probably wondering, why did you do it? Of course, like, everyone's like, what was your perspective on doing that? But it's like, and I get what you're saying with that, but it's like, why does it matter what Hitler's perspective is? He's a sick man. You even admitted he's a piece of shit, Sneako, right? He's evil, right?
I think he was a bad person. I don't know if he was evil. I haven't met the guy. I think he was a bad person. Yes.
Hold on.
I haven't met the guy. I don't know if he's evil. I haven't met him. You think meeting him would change anything? Let's say Hitler was the nicest man to your face, Sneako, which, by the way, he wouldn't be because you don't quite look Aryan. But let's say that was the case. Would that erase the fact that, yeah, he killed 6 million Jews is the numbers that's given, but people oftentimes don't talk about beyond that too. 19.3 million civilians and prisoners of war in total. 19.3 million civilians and prisoners of war. He could be the face-to-face Sneako. He could jack you off. He could give you a little sucky-sucky. He could snuggle with you and say, you're so precious and I love you. I love everything you do. He could be the sweetest man that's ever lived ever to you. And that wouldn't change Dickie McGee's axe. It's so, people are so weird, right? Like, why would it, like, you got to keep things in perspective, right? Somebody's nice to you personally. Does that mean that, bro, couldn't have done anything wrong outside of that? Nice guy, bro. He asked me how my day was. Like, there's no connection, man. What are you talking about?
I think he was a bad person.
Sneako.
But you see what you guys are doing? You want me...
Sneako.
Whether or not he was evil, you want me to agree...
Was Hitler evil?
Do you see what you're doing? You want me to agree with the specific narrative so bad.
I see what you're saying. You're just doing this to do it. It was Hitler evil.
Was Thomas Jefferson evil?
Come on, bro. Sneako, was Hitler evil? Is Fergie evil, bro? What about Carrot Top? You ever thought about Carrot Top? Oh, come on.
What you're saying. You're just doing this to do it. It was Hitler evil.
Was Thomas Jefferson evil?
Sneako, was Hitler evil?
What are your criteria? What's your criteria of evil? Murder?
Look up the definition of evil.
Killing 19.3 million innocent people. I'm pretty sure that fits under you. In fact, you could kill one innocent person, and it's like, nah, unless it was a total fluke accident, right? But you kill one innocent person, and I'm pretty sure most people be like, yeah, that's kind of evil. 19.3 million, though? It's complicated, bro.
I'm asking you. You want me to just say this so bad. You need me to say the same thing as you so bad. What is your criteria of evil?
Profoundly immoral, and wicked.
Yeah, I think he did. He did commit some wicked behavior, of course.
So is he evil?
I don't want to say the same thing that you're saying, man. I don't want to go and I'm not going to partake in this groupthink. I'm not going to go in.
Oh, groupthink. He calls it groupthink. Look, this is my warning to everybody out there, the people who go down the right-wing rabbit hole or whatever, red pill world. They think they're so brave and they're such free thinkers when they are just mindless contrarians. Mindless contrarianism is groupthink. If the mainstream has a narrative and your reaction to that is, oh yeah, I'm the opposite of that narrative, that is equal and opposite groupthink. You're just a mirror image of the certainty and of the narrative, except your narrative is everything the opposite of what they say, everything the opposite of what they believe. That's what I think. Mindless contrarianism is so insufferable because not only are they doing groupthink, they suck themselves off like they're not. They suck themselves off like, bro, we're above it all. We're so smart. No, if you were smart, you would have, you'd evaluate everything independently and based on the evidence, and whatever conclusion you come to is the conclusion that you espouse. And sometimes that's going to be right smack dab in the middle of mainstream opinion. You know what a mainstream perspective is? Pedophilia is wrong. That mainstream perspective is correct. You know what a mainstream perspective is? Yeah, universal healthcare is probably a good thing to do. That is correct. Now, there's also plenty of things where I would argue, hey, the mainstream perspective is actually wrong based on evidence and based on sound reasoning. Like, for example, the majority of Americans still support the death penalty. Well, guess what? 4% of the time, according to a study that came out from the UK, we kill the wrong people. So the U.S. government sanctions the murdering of 4% innocent people because we have the death penalty. That's one where I'm not with the majority of Americans. Okay, so on that, I'm a little bit contrarian, right? But I have opinions that are all over the place. The most important thing is it's based on evidence, and it's based on sound reasoning. And it's based on you have some sort of fundamental ideological grounding for it. This is just mindless contrarianism. Oh, bro, I don't want to use the word you're using. I don't want to do that groupthink. You are doing groupthink. You're doing the uber contrarian red pill groupthink, where you guys have your narrative and you run with it and you cling to it like a baby clings to its blanket. This isn't, you're not being intelligent, you're not being strong, you're not being tough, you're not being a truth teller. He likes to call people bot. Oh, you're a bot, you're a bot. You're a bot. That's very clear.
Do this.
You literally, you know what's funny? No, you know what's funny? I said, is Hitler evil? You said, I don't know. I didn't know the guy. And then I said, I read the definition, and you said, yeah, he was wicked. So you basically, is he evil?
I would say, but I don't want to partake in this, like, you need to say exactly what I believe thing. Because
this guy, Aiden Ross, is trying to help him so much. By the way, Aiden Ross is Jewish. He's trying to help Sneako be like, you said wicked, you said he's a bad guy. Can you just say he's evil? If you can't use the word evil to describe Hitler, you can't use it to describe anybody. And by the way, there are some, just so we're clear here, there are some goofy left-wing arguments where people say, like, does evil even really exist, bro? The word evil is essentializing actions that are much more complex. I don't buy that. I don't buy any of that.
This is how you avoid yourself from having actual conversations and dialogue.
That's what he wants. Sneako just wants to have a dialogue. He just wants to have a nuanced dialogue about the upsides and downsides of Hitler.
Listen, I don't care. I said, was Hitler evil? You said, I didn't know the guy. I read the definition of evil. You said, yes, he was wicked. Is Hitler evil?
I'm not going to partake in this group thing.
Yeah, Sneako. Oh my, yeah, Sneako.
Look, I gotta be honest here. I hope he's doing a bit. He's laughing at the end here. Maybe that's some evidence he's doing a bit. I don't know. Maybe, right? Because it's hard to imagine anybody actually thinks like he thinks, but there are some out there who do. But I hope he's doing a bit. I would almost respect it more if he went full Kanye. Because with Kanye, there was no ambiguity. He was just like, I love Hitler. Sneako's like, yeah, I'll say he's a bad guy. And, maybe he's wicked, but I'm not going to use the word evil. I'm not going to do this groupthink. I just say it, right? Just say it. If you're going to do this, just say it. Just say it. What do you really think? Are you full Fuentes now? Is that what you are? Because he's buddy-buddy with Nick Fuentes. Have you gone full Fuentes? Have you gone full Kanye? At least have the balls to say it if that's your actual take, instead of this tap dancing around it. Anyway, mindless contrarianism, going down that red pill rabbit hole and doing this mindless contrarianism, that is groupthink. And it's actually a more pathetic version of groupthink, because if you look at the mainstream groupthink, at least some percentage of the time, they get stuff right. Whereas this mindless contrarianism red pill stuff, I don't know. I haven't seen any intelligent commentary come out of there. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.